Hey, Peter Gregg, Miami, Florida. Welcome to the Christmas room.
Sit back, relax. You are about to watch a Peter Gregg video. Something warm, human, and wonderful happens when you watch Peter Gregg.
Hi, guys. I was listening to some of my older videos, and almost every single time I go, "Hi, guys," right after the intro. I found that interesting, so I thought I'd mention it. Now, I put the camera on, and honestly, I was going to do a video on the settings for the focus system for the A7R3. But, you know, it dawned on me that I have an opportunity here that I have not taken, and maybe I should take it. And that is, while the A7R3 is here, and it's not going to be here much longer, I think I'm going to have to send it back this week, because time will be up, you know, for me to be playing around with that camera, and then I have to return it. So while this has been going on, I've been shooting almost everything with the Sony A7R3. The Mark III. Sony doesn't like that, so I figured I'd throw that in for added stuff. But you know what's off the tripod is this, the GH5. So I figured, you know, I've never really gone through the GH5 for people to think, know exactly what I'm thinking. And maybe there's some people that are still shopping and they would like to have a little bit of a heads up on what's going on. So before I get into that, this is 4K 30p 1/60th of a second. I moved it up from f1.4 to f1.8. So this is f1.8 so that the tree, again, you know, I never remember to turn this one light on. So we'll do it right now. And when my face is facing towards the camera, we are supposed to be in face detection on the A7R Mark III. And while I have the freedom to walk around the room, which I don't have with some of the other cameras, I want to say hi to Jingles. Let you guys know he just ate. He ate well. This is about the 8th or the 7th or 8th day where he has not vomited. So we're into new territory here. Since Christmas, he's been vomiting every other day and hardly eats. And we've gone all the way down to 7 pounds. We're back up to 8.5 pounds. And I just did a video on the food that I'm cooking for him on the other channel, Peter Gregg 4K. You want a link to that? I'll put a link down in the description. And it's a long video, but I did do it with the A7R Mark III, so you can watch it for that sake. Or if you want to see what the Jingle Bells loaf is all about, because I made a Jingle Bells loaf. It's a meatloaf made just for him. And he had a nice, healthy piece tonight. Right, Jingle Bells? Yes, he did. So, with that in mind, or out of the way, oh, I didn't finish. 1/60th of a second, f1.8, ISO 1000. We are color balanced with a better white balance, which is my white balance tool. This one does not have the protective covering taken off of it. And if you do buy one of these, they're all shipped out, by the way. So if you're expecting it, they're on their way. I try to ship everything out next day. Remember to take the peel off the protective covering, because that interferes with your white balance. Anyway, we are white balanced with a better white balance. So that's what we got going on. Now, here's the GH5. Now, this is an opportunity that I wanted to take to talk about the GH5, because since it got here, it got put on that tripod, and the tripod used to be in that corner for you guys that remember, and I moved it over so I'm kind of more centerized with the tree. And it's been used for the production the whole time. You know, I've got, this is the 12 to 35 lens that's on here. It's a zoom lens. It's one of my favorite lenses. And the other lenses that I have that are excellent is the 25 millimeter 1.4 and the 25 millimeter 1.2. The 1.4 is a Leica Panasonic lens. The 1.2 is an Olympus lens. And they both work very, very well on the Panasonic GH5. So let's talk about the GH5 a little bit. All right, how about something from a little bit different point of view? I have not went around to look at what different people say, but from my own experience, the GH5 seems to be taken by the market as a camera that's focused for video. And it very well seems to be. It looks like Panasonic took whatever they had available for video and pretty much ran with it. You need focus peaking, you got it. You need zebras, you got it. You want 30p in 422, you got it. You got 60p in 422, you got it. You want all eye, you got it. I mean, there's very little that they've taken away from us. We don't have RAW. So what good is the camera without RAW? Seriously, why would you buy a camera that doesn't have RAW in it? All right, I'm joking, okay? Don't get all worked up. It's like it's got so much in it pertaining to video. But a lot of it also bleeds over both ways into stills. For instance, we've got some of the best image stabilization on the market. Not only one, but two. Dual IBIS in here. Image stabilization in the body and image stabilization in the lens. Now this lens is image stabilized. The 50mm 1.2 from Olympus is not. The 42mm from Panasonic, the Leica one, I believe is. So you can get dual IBIS with that one, dual image stabilization, and dual image stabilization with this one. So those are unique. But the image stabilization, even if you use a lens like the 25mm, the 1.2 or the 1.4 that I have, the image stabilization on this, so good. It is so good. It's amazing. So let's go through a few of the things. Number one, this camera, as good as it is as a video camera, okay, good. You think it's good? I think it's good. That's how good it is as a stills camera. What? We thought that stills was just added in like an extra sprinkling of magic fairy dust. Pixie dust, as they say, No. This camera, I would love to shoot weddings. I haven't shot weddings in quite a few years, but since the 70s and the 80s, that's what I do. I shoot portraits, events, and weddings. And some product photography along the way. And that's my background. Video only came along since 2002, 2001. Little by little, it started to inch its way in. But it's the pictures. When I pick up a camera, first thing I do is measure it. How would this do in a wedding? And you know something? This camera is absolutely awesome. It focuses very, very well in low light, lower than you think. Let's put it this way. Here, you got a Canon 80D, okay? Now, this is my nephew's camera. All right, so this is a Canon 80D, and you have a GH5. Now, if you were to say to me, Peter, which camera would you prefer to shoot a wedding with? Now, you'd think I would say the 80D, but it would be the GH5, all right? That's how good this is. The weakness of this camera is the super low light, not just low light. Don't just think that low light, any kind of low light is no good. That's not true. This does well in low light. It's the super low light that we've got a little bit of problems that creep in with noise, and that's when people start looking elsewhere. However, it's got a sister or a brother called the GH5S that's the same camera as this camera, a few steps newer, because it came out just recently, and it has, instead of 20 megapixels, it's got 10 megapixels, rounded out, okay? And what that does is, let's see, the size of a pixel, an individual pixel, is the size of the tip of this pen, okay? Well, the pixel in the 10 megabyte camera would be that size. So they're like huge pixels, and more pixels means less noise. I mean, let's cut out the middleman and just say, the bigger the pixel, the less the noise. The smaller the pixel, the more the noise. Now, where that changes over is an area a lot of people don't understand, and that's by the power of how many megabytes it has. It creates what I call a power file. Doesn't that sound very powerful? Like, where's your guns, man? Okay, it's like, I've got power file in here. All right, so let's say the D800 from Nikon, when they came out with a 36 megapixel camera, that was a big deal. Honest to God, because up to then, 24 megapixels was the biggie. Okay, and then they came out with the D800, 36 megabytes. And you know, the noise was quite a bit more. However, because you had so many of them, your picture that you were taking, every picture was like that size. And when you printed it or did anything with it, you reduced it so much that it became a power file, because every little bit of inconsistency, every little negative aspect of it started to get reduced. Like if you took something to a Xerox copier, like if I took this piece of paper. Come on, Peter, I need a piece of paper. Okay. This is a song I'm practicing. All right. Now, if there's a mark on this paper right here, let's put one in here. And then when I go practice, I'm going to go like, why did I put that mark in there? Okay. That's an oops. That's an artifact. That's a noise. That's something. All right. Now, if I took this and I reduced this piece of paper to this size, that mark would get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it becomes of no consequence. So that's the power file. All right, so that's the difference between a GH5 and a GH5S. It has bigger pixels. So instead of taking a 20 megapixel sensor and making it 40, and then we have that same reduction, they went the other way. They gave us a bigger pixel. So the images that come out of here are absolutely incredible. It's hard to take a bad picture with the GH5. So we all overlook it because we think, oh, GH5, boy, you must be doing a lot of video, right? Oh, and what do you use for your stills? Oh, I use a Canon or a Nikon or something to that effect. But did you ever bother to think that this camera will take great pictures? No, that doesn't normally happen. And that is a shame, because this is amazing. Okay, now let's get into little bitty things. The Sony A7R that we've got there. It has a dial that you can turn. Okay, that's the PSAM dial, and this one has it too. All right, this one you push it down and it'll lock. It won't turn. Okay, and this Canon, it doesn't turn unless you hold it down. Now, if I hold the center button down, it'll turn. The Sony is the same way. What I like is, for this one, I can have it in the lock position so I don't screw up, or I can leave it in the open position and it won't turn. So it's my choice, is what I'm trying to say. So it's little things like that consistently through the camera that make it interesting. For instance, to pull this articulating screen out, which means it turns all the way around. There's a fingernail thing at the top that'll grab. There's another one on the side that'll grab. There's another one on the bottom that'll grab. So no matter how I go to take this and turn it and pull it, it's always available and easy to do. On the Canon, there's no finger thing on the top. I can pull all day long. There's no finger thing on the bottom. There's one on the side with a little indentation. So you got to X marks the spot. You got to hit it right. Then you can pull it out. And yes, you do get an articulating screen, which is very important. Something that Sony seems to be so surprised that anybody would even think of wanting an articulating screen. Sony, where have you been putting your head? Go take a shower, wash your hair, okay, get back out in the public and realize that we want an articulating screen because it's important. Okay, so it's got something like that's built in. Over here, you've got your battery. Now you've got a spring up door here, but when you push it back down, it doesn't lock. So that's a negative. What other little things do we have on this camera? Let's see, we got battery in here? Yeah, we got battery. You know, there's a lot of talk about what would make a good vlogging camera. You know what I think I'd like to do now that this is not on the tripod? I think I'd like to take the GorillaPod, okay? I think I'd like to put it into the bottom of the GH5, and I think I'd like to go take a little walk around the backyard. Let's see how the image stabilization does. Let's see how it is in, you know, outdoors and keeping track of my face, because the battery is working in here. Okay, so I put it on the GorillaPod, and I'm going to tighten it up. Let's face it the right direction. Tighten it up. Okay. A little bit tighter. There we go. So let's open this up here. Let's turn the camera on. Let's set it to shutter priority mode. Shutter priority mode. I want to use a speed of 60. I'm going to move the ISO over to automatic. Let it handle that. And we're ready to go. All right, let's go take a walk, just the regular walk around my backyard. We'll take Jingles out. We'll go see the dogs, the neighbor dogs. And I'm going to hold this up like this. And I'm going to walk. And let's see how the stabilization does and how the camera focuses, because I have it on continuous focus for face detection. And let's go check it out. And I'll be back. And you go along with me, all right? Let's go. Hey, welcome to the backyard. Let's make sure we are at the widest. So this is the 12 to 35 lens. I've got it on the Joby tripod. I added a Rode Stereo Pro Mic Pro on here. And I'm gonna look at you, but I also want to watch where I'm walking because I don't want to wind up flat on my butt. So it's a little bit windy. The time is 6:45 in the evening, so the sun is setting, but we still got some sunlight. So let's see exactly how the camera is going to handle that. I've got the image stabilization on, and I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see where I'm walking and try to keep this centerized. Let me make a little bit of an adjustment on here because, okay, that's much more comfortable. All right, so now I'm walking. Image stabilization is taking care of everything. I'm holding it with my left hand, which is my weaker hand. I can feel a little moisture in the air, like maybe we might get a little bit of rain. I don't know. I've got it on face detection, full-time continuous focus on. So that's being handled by the camera. I got image stabilization on, both on the lens. Did I turn it on the lens? Yes, it's on. That would be dumb to do all this and not have the image stabilization on. So now we're going around. We're going to come over here and see if Rex and Jax are going to come out and play. We definitely got Jingle Bells, right? Jingles is out here with us. So this is what it feels like walking around. Let me turn the camera around. Here we go. We got Rex and we got Jingles. And there they are. So the camera's handling all of this right now. Image stable is on. Image stabilization is on. Autofocus is on. Rex is a beauty. Of course, Jingle Bells is a beauty too. And there we go. So, and where's Jax? Jax, you out here, baby? He's a big boy. Let me see if I zoom in on these guys, what'll happen. There we go. I can stay with it. And I got a feeling we're gonna see some dogs getting ready to pee. So let's get back to Peter. Slowly bring you guys around and put the camera back out at arm's length. How about the weights? The weight is a little on the heavy side. This is not the same as maybe a small camera like the G7X Mark II. However, it's not too bad. I'm walking, I'm chewing gum, and what do they call it? Patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. So this is what this looks like out. Not overcast. The sky is pretty clear, so the light is a little bit specular. Other than that, this is what the camera looks like. All right, should we go back inside? Should we get another look at Jingles playing all the way over there? That'll give me the opportunity to zoom in with the lens. And let's see what they're doing. Jingles wants to play. Jingles, you coming over? Where are you? There you are. Up, that's the one guy. Now the other guy's going to have to remark the territory. So based on that, you got your highlight of your day. You got to see two dogs peeing. So I flip the LCD screen around. I come back around, and there I be. How are you doing? There I be. All right, let's go back inside and see. Put this back. There, we got a little flare for you. I'm going to step into the sunlight a little bit. Try not to hit anything like the walls. You coming in, Jingles? All right. So that's what this looks like as a vlogging camera. I've done this before just for my own testing, and I gotta say, the box, I can see the LCD. The box is just staying right smack on my face. I mean, it's not missing my face, not even for an inch. So as long as it obeys itself, yes, our screening needs to be repaired. I know. You can send money to care of Peter Gregg Screening Repair. So that's our pool, because we are in South Florida, of course. Miami, which means you've got a pool in your backyard. Jingles took off and he went down the side there. This is image stabilization with the camera. The camera is wobbling a little bit, but I don't see it. So we're gonna have a plane now, right? We're gonna have a plane decide to fly overhead. They waved. They said hi to everybody that's out of town. Jingles, come on, let's go. We're gonna go inside. All right, let's go back. We're gonna switch back to the Sony and continue inside. Okay, we're walking back into the Christmas room, and this is what I did outside. I turned it off already, by the way. I turned it off as we were coming in. And you saw it. I haven't processed it yet, but you saw it. So this is a superb camera. Better than superb. I mean, they named the Nikon, the D850, as the camera of the year. But honestly, this camera covers all your bases as best as possible. The only camera that's actually threatening this camera right now is the new A7, just the A7, the A7 III. And that's because it's going to do everything that this can do. Oh, by the way, I did put the Rode mic on it, which I pulled off as I was coming in, and I set it down. So the Rode mic, this is the Rode stereo mic. So that's not the speakers from the camera that you hear. It's actually the little Rode Stereo Pro, it's called. Okay, so that was what it looked like. It did a great job. It's not the lightest camera, but it's not anywhere near as heavy as this Canon. Oh, if I had to carry the Canon out, the Canon doesn't have image stability, image stabilization is the right words. So that's what we've done with this camera. Jingles, he went out with me. He got tired. I'm coming over here just to show off on the Sony with the face detection, and maybe the next video I will show you the settings that I set for the Sony. So that's about it. This camera is a super, super, super thumbs up. Magnificent stills camera. You can actually buy a grip, so it'll actually look like a mini D1X Mark III or a Nikon D5. And it'll have extra batteries and stuff like that. On this particular camera, you can buy, if you're going to do a lot of studio work like I do, you can buy an external battery that plugs into the wall, which I did have for the GH4. And anyway, I used the regular battery on this one. So that's the story of the GH5. On video, you guys pretty much know everything that's going on. I wanted to accentuate the fact that the GH5 is a superb camera. It's a superb wedding camera. And if you add the twin, so if you get into really super low light, not just regular low light, all right? You've got a pair of twins. You've got your backup camera. They're both identical. This one has image stabilization, the other one doesn't, but if you put this lens on it, it'll have it. Or you put an f1.4, like the 25mm 1.4, or the 25mm 1.2, and you've got yourself a killer combination. So the purpose of this video was to sing the praises of the GH5, not only from the video point of view, which everybody and his uncle does, but also from the stills. So you know that in the video we've had less than expectations for the focus, right? So what do I think of the expectations for the focus on the stills? Well, the focus on the stills is absolutely superb. I don't have the beep on, and I don't want to take up your time here to turn it on, but it just locked in that dark corner. Let's see, the grandfather's clock area is always super dark, locked on. Okay, where the piano is super dark, locked on. On the tree, of course, locked on. On Jingle Bells, locked on. You know what? Just a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks after Christmas, I did a maternity session and I grabbed this camera to do it. That was kind of like an emergency maternity session. So how about if I do a video showing you the pictures that I took from this camera with the, what lenses did I use? I used the 75mm Olympus 1.8 lens, which is, wow, talk about knock your socks off. You know how many people go out for Canon and Nikon, they buy the 200mm, you know, f2.8 lens or the f2 lens because it just blurs out the background. The same thing happens with the 75mm Olympus lens. It's phenomenal. It's a 1.8. It becomes a 150, so it's very close to that 200. And I use that lens, and I use the 42.5mm f1.2 lens with the image stabilization, the Panasonic version, not the 45mm, which is the Olympus version. Sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. So they came from up north, and I was at the wedding, and I helped shoot. No, I actually did the wedding. So they said that she's pregnant and she's due in 2 weeks, and nobody thought about doing a maternity session. So could you please, pretty please? I said, of course, come on over. So we went out in the backyard, the front yard, by the swimming pool. We did a few by the Christmas tree here. Done. About a half an hour, we had a beautiful reunion time. See, a bride is somebody that stays with you for life. So take good care of your brides, guys. If you're a wedding photographer, you are starting a relationship that's going to go from the beginning of their married life through their children, their children's lives, through their children's seniors, to when their parents get older and they want portraits. Make that relationship and make it stick. It's wonderful. All right, and this is a camera that can do it from outdoor barbecues all the way to just a stills camera for portraits where you do photography. That's what a photographer that shoots a lot of paws is, a photographer. It's an excellent all-around camera. This is probably not going to get updated for a couple of years. This is their base engine and solution for a few years. So thumbs up on the GH5. And I'm hoping to get a GH5S in here from Panasonic, or a G9, or both. We'll see what happens. And let's play around with that. Meantime, this is Peter Gregg, Miami, Florida. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoosh.
You have just watched another Peter Gregg video. Something warm, human, and wonderful happens when you watch Peter Gregg. Thank you for watching. Description of all equipment used in this video, plus any notes Peter took while filming, are always placed in the description box, show more box, or down arrow thingy next to the title on mobile apps. Duly noted.